Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, June the 12th. Fridays are always good. They may not mean that much. In reality, you still might have to work on Saturday, but from a mental standpoint, it makes you happy. I got to go back to work Monday. My wife recently had surgery and she's doing better, and so I've got to motivate myself after being off for 2 weeks to get back in the working mode. I was going to talk to you a little bit about wiffle ball. I don't know if y'all ever played wiffle ball. It's a little ball, plastic's got holes in it. Some of you might have been like me, also call it plastic baseball, because the difference is the wiffle ball has holes in it and it dances around like a curveball a little bit more, and the little plastic baseball, it's solid. Just a thin thing of plastic. Me and my brothers played a lot of that in the backyard when we were little. And, it came with a plastic bat. But when we were playing, if you checked your swing, you try to swing and you stop real hard, then that bat would bend and break. And so we would usually discard the plastic bat, and we would get a real bat. And we just out there playing, in the sun, and usually had on a pair of shorts and a pair of tennis shoes, and that was about it, out there soaking up the sun, just playing like little kids will do. And like I said, we'd use a real bat. And usually when you use a real bat, you knocked a hole in the ball. And we didn't have a lot of money. We had to make things last and stretch out as long as we could. So my dad had a little work area, and he had some electrical tape in there, sometimes duct tape. So when we would knock a hole in that ball, we'd get the tape out, kind of reshape it, make it round again, and tape the heck out of it. And when you taped it really good, that ball became a lot more sturdy. And so we'd be out there playing, and for example, I might be batting, no shirt on, and one of my brothers, they would hit me. So you call that beaning the guy in baseball, but getting hit by the ball. They'd throw it right at you, and you'd turn around, it'd hit you in the middle of the back, and it'd sting like heck, and make a big old red spot, and usually caused a fight. We'd all get into it and fight, and say you did that on purpose, But that went on a lot on a regular basis in the summer. Another thing that I used to do was take a real bat. We had a gravel driveway with rocks about that big. My dad would have called that SB2 gravel. I have no idea what that stands for, but again, they were about that big. And the whole driveway was covered with that. And we had a pond out in the barn lot where the cows stayed, and we just pitched those rocks up and bat them and hit them as far as you could, and just pretend you were a major leaguer. And I know my brother, he used to pretend he was Harry Carey or one of the announcers, Jack Buck maybe, and he would do the crowd, like if somebody hit one in the pond, like, make a crowd sound, and the crowd goes wild. And on a good day, you might throw that bat down and run around and touch 2 or 3 trees. Using your imagination, those were the bases. You touch 2 or 3 trees, and you come home and maybe touch a glove or something you'd thrown down for home plate and jump up and down. And you just used your imagination and you pretended. It wasn't a bad deal, wasn't a bad way to go. Last of all, we didn't have any concrete to play basketball on, but we had grass, and we had a goal on an old light pole with a backboard and a rim. And I remember we played out there bouncing that ball around on the grass, and slowly but surely we wore the grass off, and we just had like a clay court, and it became pretty good. And I used to always say, man, if you can dribble on our court, you can certainly dribble on the hardwood floor when you played sports for school or whatever. But You know, we also played a little football. My dad wasn't crazy about football because he wanted us not to get hurt. He wanted us to be able to work on the farm, so we'd have to make sure he was going to work or somewhere, and we played football. There was 3 brothers that lived down the street from us. They'd show up. And one thing about it, if you got hurt, you didn't want to tell Dad. You just toughed it out. I remember I'd get hurt or something, and my brothers would say, "You're all right, you're all right, get up." And so that's just another little tidbit of some things that I did as a child, especially in the summer, to occupy time. One last thing I do remember is a lot of times we'd be playing out there. I say a lot, but sometimes there would be you'd be sweating and the sun shining, and you'd have a big old cloud come up and cool things off, and Mom would hear the thunder and see the lightning. She'd say, "You boys better get in here. You're gonna get struck by lightning." But we'd keep playing, and usually some rain followed, and that rain's what brought us in the house. But again, had a pretty good upbringing, had some fun doing things like that, and that don't go on too much nowadays probably. Got a lot of video games and things like that, travel ball. So anyway, till next time, if you like these videos, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.